What makes a truly legendary point guard? Is it the pure playmaking? Is it running an offense like an absolute maestro? Is it the raw scoring and the ability to completely break a defense down? Or is it the ultimate test, a championship hardware? In this video, I'm going to be answering that once and for all. I am ranking the top 5 point guards of all time. I'm not just looking at rings. I'm not just looking at highlights. I'm not just looking at statistics. I am breaking down everything, including historical impact, advanced analytics, their masterclass in execution, and for the active guys, last season's mind-blowing stats and their long-term potential. This list is going to turn some heads, so drop a comment right now with your top 5 before we dive in. Let's get right to it. With the number 5, I already have Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, and I know everybody's going to hate me for this. I know the old heads are already writing their angry comments, but tell me any point guard ever that should be above him, and I can promise you that you're wrong. I understand there's Isaiah Thomas's, there's John Stockton's, there's Jason Kidd's, but Shai Gilgeous-Alexander is redefining the ceiling of individual point guard efficiency in the modern era. We are looking at a 6'6" guard who can operate at a completely unbothered, methodical pace. He doesn't rely on explosive athleticism. He relies on footwork, elite change of direction, and an unstoppable mid-range game. To stand in the top 5 all time, you have to possess a peak version of basketball that can carry a team to a historic regular season and a deep playoff run. And Shai has proven to do this multiple times. He's a finals MVP. He led the OKC Thunder to multiple 60-win seasons. He's a 2-time MVP. Last season, he put up 31.1 points per game, 6.6 assists per game, 4.3 rebounds per game, shooting 55% from the field, which is incredible for a point guard, and 66.5% true shooting percentage. These are unreal numbers, and Shai is a top 3 guard. He is a top 3 guard peak ever. Point guard, shooting guard, whatever. He is a top 3 guard peak ever. That is like 100% a fact, and he 100% deserves to be a top 5 point guard. Now, it's not just the volume that Shai works with either. It's the sheer efficiency. Like I said, he shot 55% from the field, and he put up 31 points a game, and he managed a true shooting percentage of 66.5%. For a guard who primarily scores inside the arc, that is fundamentally absurd. He's not just an offensive threat either. Shai averaged 1.4 steals and nearly a block per game last season. He is a premier two-way point guard, anchoring an elite, young Oklahoma City Thunder defense while acting as the undisputed engine of their top-tier offense. How many guys can score at the level that Shai can score and defend at the level that Shai can defend? Very few players ever can do that, especially in the point guard position. The team context around him is perfect. Sam Presti has built a powerhouse around Shai with Chet Holmgren and Jalen Williams and an army of elite 3-and-D wings in Alex Caruso, Cason Wallace, and Lou Dort. Because the Thunder have spaced the floor so brilliantly, Shai has the ultimate driving lanes to manipulate the help defenders and find open teammates. Now, I'm basing this list off of right now, and right now I think he's the 5th best point guard of all time. But when we look at his ultimate potential, it's pretty scary because right now he's in his prime. He's still incredibly young. He's already asserted himself as a perennial 2-time MVP and a finals MVP. And he is the leader of the best team. He's led them to multiple 60-win seasons. If he can just string together maybe another championship, maybe 3 MVPs in a row, he could be a top 3 point guard of all time. Shai's combination of volume scoring and elite playmaking put him firmly at the entry gate of historical greatness, and he 100% earned this top 5 spot, and it's only up from here. I know all the Shai haters and all the old heads are going to come at me for this take, but truly you cannot name me another guard or point guard that deserves this spot above Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. Now at number 4, we have the back-to-back MVP, the engine behind the basketball revolution of the mid-2000s. Gotta have Steve Nash up here. To understand Nash's greatness, which a lot of people don't seem to understand, especially the casuals, but to understand Nash's greatness, you have to understand the era that he played in. The early 2000s NBA was a slow, muddy, and brutal era of basketball. Teams were grinding out wins in the 80s. Then Steve Nash walked into Phoenix and unleashed the 7 seconds or less offense. Nash didn't just play point guard, but he weaponized the position. He proved that a high-octane, pace-and-space offense could absolutely dominate the league, and he won 2 MVPs off of doing so. Nash is a card-carrying member of the most exclusive efficiency club in history. He led the league in assists 5 times, but his shooting splits are where the real magic is. He had 4 separate 50, 40, 90 seasons. Let's look at his historical standard compared to his peers. When Steve Nash played in the pace and space era, he had 4 50, 40, 90 seasons, which is pretty much unreal. He orchestrated the 7 seconds or less system into the Phoenix offense. Now, when his peers, the average, when they played in their traditional and grit era or their style in the same era, they had an average of less than 1 50, 40, 90 season playing in that slow-paced, isolation-heavy offense. Steve Nash revolutionized basketball and changed the game in the mid-2000s. Steve Nash was a historic playmaker who also never missed. When Nash was running the pick and roll with Amari Stoudemire or kicking it out to Sean Marion, defenses were left completely paralyzed. He would probe under the rim, circle back out, keep his dribble alive, and find an angle that no one else in the arena could see. The main criticism Nash gets is the lack of a finals appearance or a ring, but context is everything. Those Phoenix teams ran into a dynasty in San Antonio, endured controversial suspensions in 2007, and dealt with brutal injuries at the worst times. And if we're being real, yeah, Nash had a little bit of help in Sean Marion and Amari Stoudemire, but Steve Nash pretty much carried those teams, and he built that offense. So this was he had to pretty much carry the Phoenix to get to a finals appearance and a finals win, which is a very tough testimony. And if he was able to do that, maybe he's higher on the list, or he 100% higher on this list. But even without doing that, he definitely earned himself a spot in the top 5. His legacy isn't defined by a ring, though. It's defined by the fact that every single team in today's NBA plays a variation of the offense that he perfected. He's the godfather of modern playmaking pace. His individual brilliance, vision, and historic shooting efficiency secure him a spot at number 4. He's 100% a lock in the top 5 no matter what. And you could argue him to go higher. I debated switching him with the guy that I have at number 3, but I think I made the right choice. But Steve Nash revolutionized basketball, and I don't think he gets enough credit for it. Number 3 is a man nicknamed the Point God, and he's nicknamed the Point God for a reason. CP3, Chris Paul. If you were to create a perfect point guard in a laboratory based purely on traditional traits, you would pretty much build Chris Paul. He's the ultimate floor general. He has spent over 2 decades entering franchises that were struggling, identityless, or just young, and instantly transformed them into elite winning cultures. From New Orleans to LA, Houston, OKC, Phoenix, San Antonio, CP3 is an automatic ticket to a 50-plus win season and an optimized offense. Let's look at the raw numbers. Chris Paul recently called it a career last season, retiring as one of the most decorated guards to ever walk on the court. He finished his career as a legendary 21-year run, sitting second all-time in both career assists and career steals behind the one and only John Stockton. But what truly sets Chris Paul apart from almost every guard in history is his microscopic turnover rate. He would give you 15 points and 11 assists on any given night while turning the ball over maybe one time, maybe twice, rarely. His assist-to-turnover ratio is the gold standard of basketball execution. Add in 9 all-defensive team selections, and you have a player who dominated both sides of the ball despite being listed at just 6 foot tall. People will talk about his being ringless. People will talk about the injuries in the postseason. the devastating hamstring pull in 2018 with Houston when they had a chance to knock off the Warriors, or the close calls in Phoenix when they were just 2 games away from getting his only ring. But you cannot let the lack of a championship ring blind you to his sheer basketball mastery. He got DeAndre Jordan paid in LA, if we're being real. Chris Paul managed the floor like a chess grandmaster. He is an absolute genius. No point guard in NBA history had the IQ that Chris Paul had. Every screen, every cross match, every mid-range elbow jumper was calculated to perfection. He dictated the terms of the game to the opponent every single night. He mentored a young Shai Gilgeous-Alexander in OKC. He unlocked Devin Booker in Phoenix. He mentored Wemby for 1 year, and Wemby went on to make a finals appearance. He eventually retired in 2026, but he retired as arguably the most pure, complete point guard the game has ever seen. He's incredibly smart offensively and defensively. I mean, he would get steals on you any way possible. He can pass, he can score from anywhere. He is incredibly talented, incredibly smart, and he deserves a top 3 spot on this list for sure. And I know people are going to say, oh, CP 0 rings, whatever. Rings aren't everything. They do matter in some instances, but you can't hate on him for having 0 rings when he has the talent and the IQ and just the absolute the way that he played basketball was at an insane level. And if you missed out watching him, then that's on you for missing out. At number 2, though, we have the standard by which all traditional point guards were measured for decades. Magic Johnson. Magic Johnson didn't just play basketball, he turned it into Hollywood entertainment. At 6'9", he completely revolutionized what a point guard could look like. He grabbed defensive rebounds, he initiated the break himself, and conducted the iconic Showtime Lakers with a level of flair, vision, and joy that changed the NBA forever. He brought a unique physical advantage to the position, routinely overpowering smaller guards in the post while possessing elite perimeter vision. And yes, we all know Magic did start at center for a couple games in the NBA Finals as well. That just shows how versatile he was. He's 6'9", and he played point guard. That's incredible. And he dominated as a point guard. I mean, when it comes to winning at the highest level, Magic's resume is pretty much flawless. He's a 5-time NBA champion with 3 Finals MVPs and 3 NBA MVPs. And in 1980, when Kareem went down with an injury in the finals, rookie Magic Johnson started at center. Like I mentioned, he dropped 42 points, 15 rebounds, and 7 assists, securing the championship and winning Finals MVP as a rookie, the only rookie to ever do so. And it shows how versatile he is, how clutch he is, and just how great of a player he is. He's the definition of historical greatness, and it is incredible to witness a player like Magic Johnson. Magic holds the highest career assists per game average in NBA history at 11.2. And I know he had a shorter career, but 11.2 assists per game is ridiculous. No one else has ever maintained that level of playmaking volume across a career. He wasn't just passing to open guys, he was actually passing guys open, anticipating rotations 2 steps ahead of the defense. The only reason he isn't number 1 on this list, and he's been number 1 on this list for a very long time, but he's not anymore because of a shift in how the game is played today and the sheer gravity of the man sitting at the top spot. But make no mistake, Magic Johnson is the greatest pure orchestrator to ever pick up a basketball. And a lot of people say he's the last true point guard we've ever had in the NBA. And I somewhat agree with them. I think they're not far off. I think Chris Paul is pretty close to a true point guard. I think Steve Nash pretty close to a true point guard. I think John Stockton played with Magic. But you get what I'm saying. I think there are guys like that are very close to Magic in the sense that they're a true point guard. But Magic Johnson is the definition of a point guard. I know Chris Paul's nickname is point guard, but when you think of a true point guard, I feel like the first person you think of is Magic Johnson. Maybe not, but I feel like it should be almost always Magic Johnson. And at number 1, we have the greatest point guard to ever play the game, and it's probably going to be this way for at least a couple of decades. He has 2 MVPs. He is a Finals MVP. He's a 4-time champion. He is a unanimous MVP winner, the only one to ever do so. We all know who I'm talking about, Stephen Curry. There are great players. There are Hall of Famers. Then there is Wardell Stephen Curry II. He is a man who single-handedly changed the entire geometry of the sport. I said Steve Nash revolutionized the game of basketball, in which he did, but Steph Curry changed the game of basketball. He changed the way that basketball was played. Before Steph, shooting a 30-foot pull-up in transition got you benched. You would look like a psychopath. But today, it's a standard offensive set. You have guys like Wemby shooting 30 feet, 40 feet shots in transition. That would be crazy to do 20 years ago. Steph Curry changed the game more than anybody else has ever done. He's the biggest, most influential player ever. There might be some other players you could argue, but I feel like it's pretty clear-cut. Steph Curry he revolutionized the game of basketball more than anybody else has, and it can be close, but I don't think it's that close. He didn't just break the three-point record, he broke the traditional basketball blueprint. His relentless off-ball movement, conditioning, and lethal accuracy created a concept coaches call gravity. Even without the ball in his hands, Steph panics defenses more than any player in history, leaving his teammates wide open for easy buckets, which ultimately gave them a 73-9 winning season and led the Warriors to 4 championships. And yes, I know that Curry only had 1 Finals MVP there. He was the main reason for those championships. Obviously, you can argue Kevin Durant was a big piece as well, and I completely agree with you. But Curry, huge piece in his gravity, off-ball and on-ball gravity was absolutely insane, and it tears apart defenses. He himself broke the game of basketball. Let's take a look at the accolades a little bit closer. They stack up against anybody in NBA history. He is a 4-time NBA champion. He has 2 NBA MVPs, with the only unanimous MVP in NBA history. I know there's been a couple guys that were pretty close, but he's the only one. He is a Finals MVP, and he's the all-time leader in three-pointers made. Steph proved that you could build a multi-championship dynasty around a 6'2" guard whose primary weapon is outside shooting. He shattered the myth that jump shooting teams couldn't win titles. The Steph Curry Warriors lived by the 3 and died by the 3, and they were always living large. Now, the debate between Magic and Steph has been a debate for the past couple of years. I feel like it shouldn't be much of a debate anymore, but the debate usually comes down to what you value more. Do you value classic playmaking from a point guard? Do you value offensive gravity? Do you value who's the better player? I kind of looked at it as who's the better player that plays the point guard position. Because if we're being real, who is the better true point guard? Obviously Magic Johnson. But who's the better player that plays the point guard position is kind of what I'm looking at in all of these videos. And that is Steph Curry. Because Magic is obviously the superior passer and rebounder. Steph's scoring capability and how he warps a defense completely offsets it. Steph can give you a highly effective and a highly efficient 30 points a night while completely opening up the floor for everyone else just by standing on the court and standing beyond the arc just because of his shooting threat. He brought the Golden State Warriors to the absolute mountaintop. He won at every single level, and he has completely revolutionized how the game is played worldwide. He is, without a shadow of a doubt, the greatest point guard of all time, and he absolutely changed and revolutionized the game of basketball as we know it. That is my definitive top 5 point guards of all time. We went from the future in Shai Gilgeous-Alexander through the absolute peak floor generals in Nash and Chris Paul, all the way to the giants of the game in Magic and Steph. Now, do you think I put Shai too high at number 5? Do you think Chris Paul deserves a spot over Steve Nash? Or do you think Magic still should be number 1? Let me know your thoughts in the comments. Make sure to hit that like and subscribe for more daily NBA content.